I arrived at the Myrtles Plantation just before dusk. When the sun dipped behind the moss-draped oaks and the air felt thick with something ancient, the house stood still and perfect. I'd heard stories all my life about this place, the 12 spirits that roamed its halls, the mirror that trapped souls, but nothing prepared me for the way the silence pressed against my chest the moment I stepped out of my car. Inside, the air was cooler, heavy with lemon oil and dust. The receptionist smiled politely and handed me an old brass key. "Room 3, upstairs," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Don't stay up too late looking in mirrors." My room was charming in that southern antique bed, creaking floors, and the faint scent of lavender. On the wall hung a portrait of a woman in a green turban. Her eyes were soft, but her stare followed me wherever I moved. I tried to laugh it off, telling myself it was only the lighting. That evening, I joined a small group for the house tour. Our guide led us to a long hallway where a massive mirror stood framed in dark carved wood. "This," she said, "is the most haunted object in the house. When the Woodruff family died, the mirror wasn't covered for mourning. People say their souls were trapped inside." I stared into the glass. My reflection looked stretched, faded, like the mirror couldn't decide who I was. For a moment, a shadow flickered behind me, small, childlike, but when I turned, no one was there. The guide's voice continued, steady and practiced, but I barely heard her. That night, I lay awake listening to the house breathe. Listening to the house breathe. Floorboards shifted, doors sighed, the air hummed softly as if alive. Around midnight, a faint knock echoed from the hallway. I opened my door, half expecting another guest, but the corridor was empty. The only light came from the oil lamp downstairs, flickering against the mirror's surface, and that's when I saw her. A woman in white, standing near the glass, her hand resting gently against it. She was pale, her face calm, but her eyes were hollow, like she had been waiting centuries for someone to notice her. I froze. She turned her head slowly toward me. The movement was silent but deliberate, like a ripple through still water. I blinked, and she was gone. The next morning, sunlight made everything seem harmless again. I convinced myself it was exhaustion, maybe a trick of the shadows, but when I went downstairs for breakfast, I stopped cold. The mirror now bore a handprint, small, smudged, pressed from the inside of the glass. I asked the guide about it. She didn't look surprised. "That happens sometimes," she said. "Children's hands, usually, they come and go." Later that day, I walked the grounds. The air was thick with humidity and the smell of earth. Near the family cemetery, I heard faint humming, the same lullaby I'd dreamed about. When I turned, I saw the woman again between the trees, her dress moving, though there was no wind. I left before sunset. As I pulled away, I glanced at the house one last time. In the upstairs window, the same green turban figure watched me go. Her face was blank, but her eyes glimmered faintly, reflecting light that wasn't there. They say 12 spirits roam the Myrtles Plantation. I don't know how many I saw that night, but I know one thing for certain. Some mirrors don't just reflect,